renting, talking about housing, renting rather than buying a home is becoming the new normal. What do you make of this issue? Do you rent?
Yeah, I do. My rent is approximately 110% of of what I earn each week. I'm a student and I have a part-time job. And yeah, I'm scrambling around every fortnight trying to make a few extra dollars to be able to pay my rent, and it's horrible.
Is the government doing enough to help young people get a deposit?
No, of course not.
Matt?
The government's had 9 years and hasn't done enough at all. Anything they do now is too little, too late. But the reality is that when people are forced into renting, and that rent is often a cold, a damp home, people are stuck between a rock and a hard place. They can't afford to buy a home, and then they're stuck with a crappy rental.
Renting. There's a huge squeeze in Wellington at the moment on rentals, and Bill English said that the Wellington rental squeeze is a sign of the city's success. What do you make of that?
No way.
That's what he said?
It means they don't have enough homes. They need to get in there, build more homes. That's what Labor's going to do.
All right, Elijah, if you were housing minister, what would you do?
Well, I think what we need to do is we need to empower communities and iwi providers to provide more sustainable housing options for everyone. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think we need to tax those ones that are making the money out of housing developments. But actually, what I think... And I feel sorry for the Greens here because it does happen. Students cannot afford proper housing. And so I think what we need to do, what happens is they get into substandard housing. Housing war on a fitnesses is what we need to do.
And you're the one Wellingtonian, all the rest are Aucklanders on the panel. So is it right there's a real Wellington's rental squeeze in Wellington?
I think there is, but I think it's even more such an issue for students. I'm not a student anymore, so I earn a little bit more.
Stefan, young Nats, is Bill English right? He said that Wellington rental squeeze is a sign of the city's success. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Absolutely, our leader is right. Absolutely, our leader is right. So, look, don't get me wrong, Wallace, I've been to some of the flats down in Otago. I didn't study there, but then sure, I'll give you that. They are really, really terrible. But if you look at the insulation package the government's put in, the rules and regulations... No.
So where do you live?
I live in Auckland.
With mum and dad, or where?
Renting.
Renting.
I pay about $300 a week.
300 for your room?
Yep.
How do you afford that?
I work full time. Yep.
All right. What about you? What do you think of this issue?
What was the question?
Well, okay. Well, we'll come back to you. Let's go to
No,
Berger.
that's not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah, all right.
So your question, what would
the
New Zealand
question
police
is,
do?
if you're the Minister for Housing, what would you do about housing in New Zealand to make it better for students?
I guess one of the first things you do is you improve the rental stock at a zones, right? So I'm a roofer, and so a lot of the houses we see, they're not even worth living in. So the rot, the lack of maintenance, because the government hasn't invested in insulation in these homes, people are getting sick, and these homes are being written off. If you want your people to be healthy, and if you want to save a lot of money in the long run, what you need to do is forget about cutting costs and spend wisely, because it's going to save you much more in the long run. That's why New Zealand first announced 530,000 homes insulated.
All right. You're a roofer?
Yeah.
Can you leave your card behind?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an Aucklander, very good.
Water blasting,
okay.
we do it all.
All right,
we do it
very
all.
good. Very, very good. G'day, Winston. How you doing? Charlotte, over to you.
Yeah, shall we see what the young Nats think? Young act.
Yeah.
That act.
What a difference here. I take real offence to that.
It's an easy mistake to make.
Okay, where do you flat and how much do you pay in rent?
I flat here in Wellington. I pay about $200 in rent, up next to Vic, and pretty close, 10 minutes walk and whatnot. I think there's a lot of actually problems here that these parties are just not addressing. Frankly, what everyone's saying here is it's a government problem, it's a government issue, this is something only the government can fix. And I say that's absolute rubbish. What we need to do as a country is we need to open up our markets, open up the potential for actually make more houses in New Zealand. That means
I think that's what a lot of political parties are trying to do, though.
The thing is...
We'll ask Top. Remember I told you to keep it short and sweet, Yeah. Harry, where do you flat and how much do you pay in rent?
I flat up in Highbury. I pay $195 a week.
It is getting very expensive. So are you interested in housing? Is that a passion area for you?
Absolutely. TOP's flagship policy is around housing, so I'd be happy to tell you a bit about that.
Are you? Maybe later. No, just jokes.
Wow. I want to go around the panel quickly and ask. The house prices are extraordinary on Aotearoa.
Yeah, way too high.
Around the panel, do you think you'll ever have the chance of owning your own home, and do you want to, Meg?
Home ownership isn't a personal goal of mine, but even if it was, there would be absolutely no chance, the way things are now, that I would be able to own a home.
Matt, what about you?
I'd like to one day, but in the meantime, while I'm flatting, I'd like to not be able to just get kicked out in 42 days with no warning, for no reason.
How does that change?
Well, the reality is that our tenancy laws in New Zealand are really, really weak. It's 90 days for no reason, but if they want to move in or they want to renovate, it's only 42 days.
And if Labor came in, they'd update those?
I mean, from a young person's perspective, that's what I would really like.
Are you folks, Elijah, do you save? I mean, is it true that when you hear sort of talk back, millennials basically spend all their money on smashed avocado on toast?
That's bullshit.
Well, is it? Is it? And you go for winter holidays in Bali?
Listen,
is that what you do?
No, I love smashed avocado on toast. I'll just say that. But what I will also say is that this whole dream, the New Zealand dream of owning your own home, I don't have that. And I don't think any of my young cousins have that either. I don't want to own a home. I like what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm going to be realistic about what I can afford. And if I can't afford to buy a house, but I can afford smashed avocado, I'm going to go for the smashed avocado.
Stefan, do you agree with that? Do you agree with what the Maori Party is saying?
Oh, look, anything that supports smashed avocado is something I support.
No, but
look,
has it got
seriousness.
any foundation in truth that you guys just don't have the habit of saving like your grandparents did?
Oh, personally, maybe I don't, but...
Right, okay, there you go.
But, I mean, look, there is some truth in that, but actually, if young people want to spend their money instead of save it, that's their choice.
Absolutely.
Why should we criticise them in the media or on the newspapers for that?
Do you own a house?
No, I don't.
What about you, Robert? You're a roofer. Do you own...
I'll rent.
Yeah. Is it your dream one day to own a home?
Yeah, I think it should be. Well, because here's what I say. It doesn't matter whether you want to rent or own a home. There should be a level playing field for New Zealanders to be able to own a home one day if they want to.
Can you save a deposit?
Not at this rate, because when you looked at it before, 8 years ago, the income to getting a deposit ratio was 1 to 3. Now it's 9 to 1. You can't save or earn fast enough to ever own a home in the next 10 years.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.